This is your host, Lysha Holmes, on the Recruiters Recruitment Podcast. And if you are watching this rather than listening, you will see quite an unusual situation in that I'm actually being joined today in the studio where I record in Lancashire by somebody that I've got to know over the last year, and I can't wait for you to get to know her. Now, this isn't somebody who is a founder of a recruitment business or a supplier to the recruitment industry, and you have probably clicked on this because whatever hook we've used, you're quite interested in what we're going to talk about today. But without further ado, I'm going to introduce my wonderful in-person guest. This is Moira Davies, who is the co-owner of our amazing office, The Drop Off, which is a cafe and also a function space, Nomad Creative, which is social media management, and Nomad Couple, which is a model. Welcome to you today. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you. Hi, everyone.
So Moira is the co-owner of our shared space. So just to give a little bit of context, we are, is in 2025, a real mix still as an industry of people that are working remotely, working hybrid, and working in an office. And you all know that Lysha Holmes, who's the producer of the show, my daughter, we couldn't work from home together. It's just not feasible. We need to have the boundaries. And our local cafe has an amazing function space. So if you see any of our photos and TikToks on social media, you'll know that that's the most amazing space. And this is the drop off. But I'd like you to give a bit of history about the drop off if you can.
Okay.
How it came about and why it is a co-shared space.
Yeah, so 13 years ago this year, my parents embarked on the adventure of purchasing a derelict 1860s cooperative building.
Wow.
And they started renovating that together from scratch with a team of a small team of individuals, joiners, electricians,
Wow.
carpenters and stuff like that. And then 3 years in, they'd finished renovating the shops which were underneath.
Right.
We've got the music school,
Yeah.
the aesthetics clinic, and the graphic designers
Yeah.
now. But that was a florist.
Oh, okay.
And then the cafe opened. So the rental from those
Yeah.
shops supported the renovation of the cafe. And then 10 years ago, this year in September, that's how long the cafe has been open now.
Wow.
And only 4 years ago did the space upstairs open.
Right.
Now, obviously, the climate in the hospitality industry is so volatile. It's ups and downs. We've been so lucky to be able to kind of strive through that together as a small team, a family team. And you know, we've always been really creative as a family of where can we get our income from? How can we, you know, attract different clientele? And slowly over those 10 years have we created like this massive hub, which is now co-working space, event space, it's a yoga studio. Yeah. We've got the private office space there. And the cafe, which is the bread and butter.
Yeah, I love that. Quite literally.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much. I'm just going to pause you a second because there's actually a lot we can unpick there that I think is really relevant to our audience. First and foremost, support your local eateries, whether it's cafe, restaurant, pub, whatever. Please don't go to the big chains. What the drop off I think epitomises for me is, you know, it's local produce and it's simple food done really, really well. You know, things like shakshuka. Oh my God. I mean, I've been to Israel and it's better than there. I have to tell you, the soups, it's proper food, you know, isn't it? And I'm always like, what's on the specials today? They'll do you an omelette. I just think real food cooked by real people. I think every community needs someone like that. And if you are lucky enough, wherever you're listening now, to have someone like that, please go and support them. Even if it's just once a week, just go and,
even once a month, once a month, coffee, like.
Yeah, and I want to also say that, so Bryn, your brother, I was talking to him about the recruitment that you have in terms of how you attract people to your business, and he was like, said, you know, very modestly that you literally have dozens of people a week wanting to come and work here, but your actual turnover is really low in a sector that I think is traditionally quite volatile. You've used the word volatile, but from an employment and recruitment point of view. So I'm interested to, before we unpick everything else, what have you created as an employer to make sure that people do want to come and work for you? What do you think we can all learn from?
Yeah, what I think is really popular with us is we encourage people to be themselves. I mean, since my brother and I have kind of taken on the business, I think it's 4 years this year. We've kind of changed the model. You know, my parents, when they were running it, they were very traditional.
Okay.
We all wore uniform.
Right.
We had set shifts, set roles, and I think that regimented mindset is very different these days. Yes, we try and implement it as best we can, but we always feel like people not lash out, but they prefer to have the creative autonomy of how they want to work, and you know, we allow them to tell us, you know, this cake isn't done very well, what do you think about offering a vegan alternative? And then we'll try it.
Okay.
You know, we ask them, what do you want from this business? What do you see in the drop off? Why do you want to work here? And we listen. And we let them.
Yeah, and I think what you just said there is it resonates so much with our industry, because, you know, if I think about future-proofing the Gen Z and Gen Alpha and the future people coming through, and I know we're going to come on to, you know, how they work and their work patterns, etc. But I think as an observer, you've just created a very empowered culture.
Yeah, for sure.
So no one feels that they can't come up with those suggestions. And I think, you know, I would use the word alternative. It's almost quite an alternative space, even though you've still clearly got boundaries and expectations on timekeeping and cleanliness and hygiene and all the things that you need to be as an actual legal entity.
Yes.
But you just let them almost be themselves.
Yeah, like down to the way that they dress to an extent.
Yeah.
You know, we'll make it clear you can wear what you want, but please don't come in a crop top.
No.
Because, and we'll be like, because would you like to be served food?
Yeah, with everything on show, or flip-flops because it's not practical.
Yeah,
you know,
it's not
be
safe.
sensible. Yeah.
So we give them that flexibility to an extent, and kind of see how it goes. And if then something isn't working, you know, we'll mention it to them and like encourage feedback.
Yeah.
Because most of our team are older than us.
Wow.
So it's kind of hard in a way. I found that hard at first.
Right.
But then once you kind of become on the same level, it does get easier, except, you know, if you do have to pull someone up on their behaviour.
Interesting.
Then I personally find that quite hard.
Well, that's probably a bit of imposter syndrome, but we're not going to that today. But I think it's interesting. It's almost contradictory that you say you don't necessarily have definitive roles per se, but clearly people understand what the expectation is of them.
Yes.
To be able to deliver on it.
Just slot in the team where they work well. Like we've got people who start on a trial shift, and I'll think you'll be perfect in front of house, and then they'll be stalling in the first 3 weeks. I'm like, oh, this isn't working. They're shaking when they're carrying a tray.
Wow.
Let's try you in the kitchen, and then they'll excel.
Right. Now, again, in recruitment, it used to be, this is showing my age, but in the 90s, you did a work trial before you got a job in recruitment everywhere. That's what you did. You did about 2-3 hours. They got you on the phones, whether it was to real candidates. I actually can't remember, it's that long ago. And it's so rare that anyone does that these days, but I think it's such an important window of opportunity for not just the employer to see how you work, how you interact, whether you actually do pick up the phone. In our industry, that's quite important, but more important for you to get an assessment of it. I appreciate it's challenging from a confidentiality point of view, GDPR with databases. I get why that's not feasible necessarily, but using your example, let them just spend time in the environment and see where that flow might be. Talk to different team leaders, talk to different directors, and see where that is, rather than, you know, I guess headcount is a challenge. The volatility of your industry is actually mirrored across most industries now. We'll not go there with the politics, and we're in for a heady budget, I think, as we share this now. I think we're probably just all reading from whatever's in the Reeves book. But you have to adapt, and I think that's a lesson that we can all learn from. So you've ensured that you're always full. I mean, you seem to always
be busy.
So it's about attracting sort of new people in and diversifying. And that is a very nice segue into you, because you're the epitome for me of someone that has a diverse portfolio. So first of all, how do you manage it all? You've only got 24 hours in it. I mean, you're not Molly May, are you? It was Molly May, wasn't it, that said that? We've all got the same 24 hours.
Yeah.
I love Molly May. I love her, by the way.
Quite empowering.
Yeah, I do love her. I think she's a real sweetie.
Yeah,
I'm in her camp of I like her, but anyway.
I don't know. It's always been my life. So, like I mentioned, my parents purchased this property about 13 years ago. I don't.
I believe we're actually in your old bedroom. I've just found out today.
Yeah, very temporary bedroom,
Yeah.
but yeah.
That's amazing.
So it started, yeah, like 13 years ago, and full time my parents were here. And when the shops downstairs were renovated, the florist moved out, and then there was an empty shop, and my dad said, this is your space now, earn some money from it.
Wow.
I think I was like 16, 17.
Oh my God, I love this. This is brilliant.
And I'm like, oh, okay. So me and we're very similar.
Okay.
We started collecting furniture, like these chairs that have that on, the stand you've got there, all the furniture that you see, we've been collecting over the years. And I just put it in the shop, and I'd renovate it, upcycle it, fix it, make, do, and mend, whatever. And people would just come in and start buying it.
Wow.
And I'd be selling stuff for like 10 quid.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't.
You didn't know. Yeah.
But from that £10, then I could go on a night out.
It was enough.
It was enough.
Yeah.
So I think I got the value. I understood the value of money from a very young age. I've always worked. So from that experience of having my own shop, people then started dropping furniture off for me to upcycle.
Oh my gosh, brilliant.
And paying me for it.
Yeah.
And then I just started working in the cafe, but I always wanted something else. I always worked on the side. I was a support worker as well for children with disabilities. Wow. Okay. So I'd worked in a respite centre.
Wow.
As well as working in the cafe.
Yeah.
So it's just always been in my nature to have something else.
Yeah.
So since COVID and since the social media boom, I've kind of latched onto that. Yeah. I really enjoy creating videos. Yeah. And it just comes naturally to me. So with the drop-off, I was making videos, and then I'd have local businesses coming into the cafe. Who does your social media? Right. I'm like, oh, it's me.
It's me.
Oh, can you come and do mine?
Yeah.
At the time, I'm like, no, I can't do any more. But I'll let you know when I can. And then slowly, as we've got the team that we've got today, I've been able to take on those clients.
Of course.
And offer them a certain volume of content a month. And now I've got about 4 or 5 clients.
That's amazing. So how do you manage? So from are there any tools that you can share with us that you actually plan your week?
Yeah. So I mentioned to you last week about Motion.
Yes, you did.
Which is an AI scheduling tool. Right. It's a calendar tool, so you can write into that your working days, how many hours a day you want to work, and then you put your tasks in, and you kind of guesstimate how long those tasks are going to take, or how long you want to spend on that task, and the priority. Yeah. So then every day I open Motion, and it says, send email to Lizzie about whatever, print posters, blah blah blah, about drop off, or if it's for one of my clients, then it'll be create 5 reels and schedule. Yep. Yeah, it just kind of tells you
when you're doing it. I think that's obviously something for your cadence to allow you to do that. So you are, I'm not saying you are typical, but you're somebody that's clearly had a work ethic ingrained in them from a very early age, which is very commendable on your parents. We have to give credit to the parents, everybody.
Of course.
I think that we spoke off camera about this, that there's a reluctance from some leaders, certainly in my industry, I hope you're not one listening now, to understand that there will be people coming through the recruitment industry in their, in their early careers who will probably have what we would call a side hustle. And it's actually something I've always encouraged. I think it's really interesting if someone's doing something, whether it's social media, whether it's they're an actor, whether they're a singer, whatever, a pilot, who cares? I've never seen it as a threat to that person's job. Recruitment is a full-time job. It is a all-encompassing job. It should never be seen as a 9 to 5, because it really isn't. But what would you say to anyone listening that's maybe thinking, well, that's going to take you away or detract you from that recruitment, or whatever the day job might be?
Yeah, so I'd say my work-life balance is very unique in a way that I am so flexible with how I work. I'm really lucky to be able to either be remote or come in for however many hours a week, any day, any time. Yeah. But for me, for example, like with my modelling, I love modelling. And I always have, from a young age, I've always loved being behind the camera, being in a creative team. Yeah. And when I go to those shoots, and I get paid for it, and I come back to my real job, I have more life.
Yeah. vitality.
I've got more, enthusiasm and, because I'm doing something that I love as well as something which I've created and also enjoy.
Yeah.
So when someone comes to me, for example, earlier this year, I had someone working for me very briefly, so it's not really relevant, I guess, because it was a quick turnover. But they wanted to create an events company.
Okay.
So to me, that was really attractive because I was like, I have an events company that I want you to help me with.
Absolutely.
So I want to learn from what you know. So I was really excited to hear what she knew from like her experience, and that's what was really attractive. Like the experience of working with other creatives and other professionals is really valuable.
Yeah.
No matter what it is.
Yeah.
And if it's, if you're earning money from it, great. But even if you're not,
absolutely,
you're still getting that experience. And I think that's the most valuable thing that you can have in a professional life.
I agree. Well, I want to know what she knows. And I think, that could be the name of this podcast actually, because we can all learn from each other, and I don't think you ever stop learning, but I think allowing somebody to have this flow in their life where they've got other interests makes them a more interesting person on the very basis level.
Literally.
But it means that could be their joie de vivre, and that's where if you take that away and say, well, that's a threat, you can't continue doing that. I just don't understand why anyone would do that. And to me, if they want to work longer hours, if they choose to do that in their spare time or in their weekends, who cares? I mean, we can't all curate, lives that are just 9 to 5 or whatever. Yeah. So I think you're a great example of someone that I think does it with, real integrity, that each thing you seem to do, you do really, really well. Like nothing seems to compromise anything else. It's quite hard to do, I imagine. There must be some days where you feel burnt out.
Like, I can't be bothered doing that.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, I'm lucky to be flexible and I'll do it tomorrow then. Yeah. But I have to do it. Yeah. It keeps you on the straight and narrow in a way. But yeah, when we're recruiting, we always ask, what are your hobbies? Yeah. And if it's, I don't know. Yeah. Watching TV. Yeah. I'm like,
Netflix.
Okay, cool. Yeah, what do you watch? And if it's documentaries that they're learning from, then it's cool.
Not serial killer documentaries, because that would be my answer. That's a good one.
That's my answer.
I love it. There's nothing more relaxing than watching Anna Dexter
before bed.
Watching. Yeah, absolutely. It's hilarious.
But sporting is a massive one in our team. When someone says that they're a swimmer or they're in a football team, they're in any sort of sporting team, I'm like, great. You are a team player. You look out for each other. It's in you,
ingrained in you,
because you've done it from a young age. And we're actually, our whole team is part of an external team from work.
Yeah.
So
that again, there's a real commonality with recruitment, that a lot of recruitment leaders, founders, myself, we look for people who are naturally always striving to be better and be able to take feedback. That's really important. And generally speaking, whether it's sport, it could be dance. I mean, Lily, that's why Lily has been a very good hire. She's used to being, given constructive feedback bluntly, sometimes on the hop, in a competition, whatever. But generally speaking, people that play some kind of sport or are involved in that, like you say, in that community, they're collaborative. They're also very competitive, which, that sometimes has a bit of a negative connotation. But to me, it just means you're always striving to be better. It's that Kaizen, continuous improvement. You can only rely on the last football game you've played. It's all about the next one. And I think it's really important. But I think it's a really beautiful way to end the podcast, that I want to think about as employers when you're recruiting. You do tend to look for people who have got some uniqueness, and I think in our industry, our role to place people, there'll be people watching now that recruit in the hospitality industry, by the way. I know there's a few people in my head that know listen, but obviously I recruit recruiters. My audience is all recruitment people. What can we do to ensure that we are being really inclusive to maybe that person that hasn't been given a chance yet and is just dying to get themselves out there? Like, what can we do better as employers?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think naturally we're really inclusive people, just from my background and, always being in different groups and kind of forced in a way, to
Yeah.
be in teams. So I didn't really enjoy school,
Right.
but I forced myself to put myself out there. I know how it feels for them. So when I get an individual come, ask for a job and they're like in their shell, our team are really encouraging of helping them come out of their shell and like just giving them that chance.
Yeah.
And then maybe after 3 weeks, it's still not working. Maybe this isn't the right job for them.
Yeah, but give them the chance to prove.
Give them the chance and speak to them about it as well. Like, what are you struggling with here? Oh, I don't like it when people look at me. I was like, okay, well, maybe we can find you somewhere in the team where people aren't looking at you.
Absolutely.
So it's just being flexible with the individual, I think, and giving them that time and space. We've got a couple of individuals who've been with us since they were 14.
Wow.
And they're now, 19, 20. And they've fully come out of their shell. They started on pots because they were so shy.
Yeah.
And now I'm so proud of them. They've gone on to go to uni. They're living in a shared house. And it's really magical to watch them grow.
Yeah, I think you've made me go goosebumpy actually, but it's about being a cheerleader, and I think
nurturing
staff, people.
Yeah.
I think we have a moral responsibility to help young people, especially having gone through COVID. I do think no one wants to talk about it, but it has affected an entire generation who were
completely different.
Young people. They are, because they were at the critical time, they were locked in, and they should have been out developing their confidence and independence and all those things. And it has had and if you think Gen Z is kind of a bit insular, then wait till Gen Alpha comes in, because they've literally grown up in a virtual world.
And
so
you can
tell. So I think that's really commendable, and I think we as an industry, we should be the forebearers of what inclusivity really means. So there will be people that you may have engaged with that you didn't realise were neurodiverse, possibly, or maybe had a hidden disability, and is it their prerogative to tell you that or disclose that? I don't think it is. I think it's about remembering to be kind. I think the challenge for my audience is that, particularly founders and leaders, is we are a sales business. It's about return on investment as quickly as possible, but so is your industry. So, you can't have people that are dropping pots of food down customers, or smashing things, or causing somebody to a chef rude. Being rude, or a chef giving someone bad tummy, or so actually every employer has the same, I think, consideration when it's about will this person form part of our strategy for retaining our customers and making money, and ultimately that's what we're all here to do. But actually sometimes we just forget we've just got to be human about it and be kind. And I guess I just wanted the end of this to be around we can all do more to help the new generation coming through by just listening and cheerleading them.
And it's like patience as well, and just trusting the process, I think. As frustrating as it can be, because you want it to work immediately. And often, like, the new generation they give up really quickly because they don't have that confidence.
No, they don't have the confidence, and also their entire world is instant gratification. So if they don't see that that's going to happen next week for them, they'll just think, well, I'll just move somewhere else. But it has been proven. I've seen something on social media actually where it's the reality of the data is that you're more likely to be rewarded better and to improve your overall earning potential by actually staying in a role than you used to be, where you used to be this whole 2 year move to every 2 years. But actually, again, the world has shifted slightly on its axis, and actually it's better to be more loyal. So how do you create that loyalty? Well, it's creating a safe space where, if that induction period, if that first journey into that workplace was, they really looked out for me. They really nurtured me through, where I wasn't a confident person. I just needed to be brought out of my shell a little bit.
And let them.
Yeah. Let them. What a gorgeous way to finish. Thank you so much. It's so much fun doing it in person. It also feels a bit fun like this. Can I just say how much we match these beautiful Chesterfields? Yeah. We're definitely matching it. I'm not even going to try and model next to a professional model. And I'm really not a professional model. But thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I don't know if Bryn knows, the brother knows that we're doing this. He's actually away in Japan at the moment, but this
lucky, well done.
More fun. But no, only joking, Bryn. Thank you so much for joining me.